Here we are, The House in Fata Morgana. The House in Fata Morgana is a visual novel that opens with your protagonist, player, character, like us, waking up in an old, run-down mansion, no light inside, no light outside, just you and these old walls. No memories of who you are, how you got there, anything. Just a true amnesia cold open. This maid that you see on the left side greets us as her eyes open and goes, "Oh, hey, you're awake. It's good to see you, master." And from that moment, you're kind of like, who the hell are you? You're my maid? Okay, whatever. Let's go on with it. And she invites you with her to observe the history of this mansion in an effort to jog your memory, to bring back your memories that you have forgotten. But, yo, welcome in, Drugs.
1 year and 6 months, let's get it.
Thank you, Drugs. 18 months, holy shit. Welcome in, you're just in time. I'm giving a bit of a recap on the top of last stream, because I know you missed the beginning of last stream. So anyway, she invites you with her. She says, grab my hand, take my hand, do not let go of my hand, and let's observe the history of this mansion. As she opens the first door, we are transported to the year 1603, and the house is adorned with roses. They call it Rose Manor. It is a beautiful, beautiful, ornate mansion, and we're introduced to two siblings, Mel and Nellie. Mel and Nellie have a, right off the bat, uncomfortable romantic crush vibe between them for siblings, and that will play in later. They had a whole little event about you're my prince and I'm your princess kind of thing, like whatever. Fast forward, they were young kids to them, a little older. Mel is 17 years old, Nellie is 14 years old, and Mel has become a studious boy of the church and confides in the priest of the local church for life advice and everything else. He kind of just goes there and kind of just vents. Nellie, on the other hand, is 14 years old, and in the 1600s, at around that age, 14, she's being courted by other nobles in the city with hopes that her family can marry her off to other nobles. Welcome in, Lurking Horror. Night 2, it's going all right. I'm just giving a quick recap and getting everything in order here. Nellie is, apprehensive and throwing temper tantrums because she has a crush on her damn brother, Mel. In the middle of this party that's being thrown for her 14th birthday, the game hard cuts to a black screen and we hear a one-sided conversation from a character who just has question marks for a name. We don't see who they are, we don't know who they are. But this person is receiving an assignment to go to Rose Manor and is nervous and says at one point that, well, the current inhabitants are quite content and really they don't remember a thing. But if I must, I'll do it. And then it cuts ahead. There's a big boom in the house, so somebody supposedly snuck in or something, and the party was called off because of rain and everybody went home. That night, Mel, boy you see right here, can't sleep. And he wakes up, he wanders around his house, and he finds a white-haired girl inside one of the rooms. And through a crack in the door, spies on her as she's being tended to by the maid. The maid is the same maid that is leading us through the mansion, seemingly hundreds of years later. So something kind of supernatural's going on. Mel doesn't give a shit. Mel just sees a pretty girl, and for the first time, he falls in love. And the next day, he looks through the house, and he finds that she's one of the housemaids, and he introduces himself. He becomes totally smitten by her. And in kind of fumbling through his words and kind of falling in love for the first time, tells her about, well, people say that there's a witch that haunts this house, and the girl with the white hair is like, oh, cool, okay. A little bit further, Nellie notices that the two of them are kind of hitting it off. Nellie, the little sister with a crush on her brother, gets jealous and makes this white-haired girl promise that she doesn't have any romantic feelings for Mel. She does. Things move on. Cuts forward to the white-haired girl in the library. Mel walks in, finds her there, studying books alone, and says, like, oh, you like reading? And the white-haired girl's like, I don't know if I really like reading. I can't read, but I do like pictures, and my father used to tell me plenty of stories. My father was a storyteller, and Mel was like, oh, I'd love to hear one. I just want to hear you talk. I'm in love with you. And the girl tells Mel a story of a girl trapped in a dark, dark room with one window to the outside world. And she sends these messages out to the outside world. And one day she receives a message back. And it's from a prince. And the prince and this girl trapped, locked away in a small room, start corresponding back and forth with these messages, and they start to fall for one another until one day the prince says, where can I find you? Where can I need to find you. Where can I find you? And she gets nervous because I'm gross. I'm in this room. I'm trapped here. I don't know how to leave. My father's trapped here. And she eventually does, and the prince comes and saves her. In the middle of the story, right before the climax, they are interrupted by Nellie, the little sister, who comes in and goes, what the hell's going on here? She doesn't say that, but in so many words. That night, the white-haired girl, this new maid, is outside and picks up a white rose, as you'll see from the title of the stream, White Rose. She's looking at this white rose, admiring its beauty, and from behind comes the maid, and the maid says, what are you doing out so late at night? It's kind of sketchy for you to be out this late. And she's like, oh, I don't know, blah, 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 blah. And the two of them kind of have this eerie conversation about, I think people think that I am the witch and whatever and what else. And while she's having this conversation with the maid, the rose turns red in real time in her hands, and just kind of furthers that there is definitely something supernatural going on. The next day, Mel arranges a sneaky date in town. He sends the maid into town to get something, and then he goes into town and goes, oh shit, didn't expect to see you here. And the two of them, walk and talk and have their own little date in the city away from everybody else. And during this date in the city, Mel outright confesses his love for the first time, lays it all out on the table, I'm taken by you, whatever, and offers her a white rose. A little ornamental white rose from one of the finest jewelers in the town. The white-haired girl freaks out and dips. She's like, I can't stay. I gotta go. See ya. And Mel, just totally down on his luck, sitting pouting in the city, the priest walks up and goes, Mel, what's going on? Is everything all right? And Mel is like, no, the girl I'm in love with, yeah, you're right. I was in love with a girl. You caught me. And she turned me down. And the priest goes, I gotta tell you something, Mel. I recognize that girl. And I want you to slow down on pursuing her until you know exactly where she comes from. Because I promise you, I saw her months prior with her father, and the two of them were peasant beggars that came into the church. I saw them weeks ago. Something's fishy here, Mel, and I need you to get to the bottom of it before you pursue any further. And Mel goes, okay. Next scene, Nellie throwing the temper tantrum of her life, laying in bed, because she is being sent away to get married. And that's where things kick off. I do want to say, we kind of breezed past this. Hi, Henrique, how are you? we kind of breezed past this content warning last week, and luckily last week nothing too intense reared its head, but I do want to read it out loud, and I also do have an exclamation point advisory, because I want to tell you things are going to go off the deep end and then some. This is a 40-hour long epic tale about processing trauma, seeking acceptance, and finding love in the world, finding someone that understands you in the face of hardship, bigotry, and tragedy. Things will be intense. Things will be distressing. Things will be hard to hear, hard for me to read. None of the terrible, reprehensible actions that you'll see are obviously, none of them are condoned by me. None of them are condoned by the author, as you can see here. The game contains depictions of blood, graphic violence, and other potentially disturbing content. Additionally, certain characters are shown to use some discriminatory and offensive language, but their words do not reflect the views of anyone involved in the production of this game, nor do we endorse such behavior. Game takes inspiration from real locations and events in history, but all the characters and events depicted are fiction and have no relation to any persons or organizations. I just want to put it out on the table. Exclamation point advisory is always there. If you see somebody new in chat popping in, if you see somebody that you recognize in chat that you didn't see them earlier on in the stream, that you want to kind of go like, yo, just a heads up, things might get kind of wild. Just, fair warning. This is a very, very M-rated adult story, and it's a complete first playthrough for me. So I don't know what's gonna happen sequentially when it might happen. So I'm going to be just as, caught off guard as you are, and I don't want you guys to be blindsided by really, really distressing content. Cool? We're all on the same page? Can I get an A-OK from everybody in chat? And we'll go ahead and start night 2 of the house in Fata Morgana. I'm very excited about it. How are you doing, Henrique? Welcome in. We're about to kick things off here. I'm about to start reading, so bear with me because we stopped right at a cliffhanger last time. It's time to kick things off. Space Daddy Gangsta, what's good? How are you? Here we go. This may seem sudden, but I must confess that I made a grave mistake. My transgression is that I was unable to completely predict where this path we were traveling led. My hands were full dealing with my immediate day-to-day tasks, so I could do naught but pray there was happiness waiting in the future. Happiness for everyone who lived within Rose Manor. But I am but a mere maid. There are limits to what I'm allowed to do, and furthermore, it was not my place to offer her my hand. Roads, such as the one we were following, have a way of diverging with little warning. And if you do not turn the wheel exactly right at those sudden forks, you may end up somewhere horribly off course. I was well aware of that fact, which is why I thought that what I did was for the best. It's happening again. I made sure the door was closed, but I can sense someone standing there. Someone watching me. Footsteps? They're looking down at me? I want to open my eyes, but I can't do it. Curses. You're just gonna leave without doing anything, aren't you? Then hurry up and get out of here. Free me from this torture. Huh? No, tonight they're on my bed now, looking down on me. My neck. What? I can't speak. I can't move. Huh? These cold fingers. That soft breath. What? Why? I can move my body, but that's not important right now. Hey. You smell of roses. The scent of a world far removed from ours. He made to gasp at the sight before him, only to realize he could not. The pressure of her cold fingertips wrapped around his throat robbed him almost entirely of the ability to breathe. Why? He silently mouthed the word. For that moment at least, her melancholic ruby eyes were focused wholly on the flaxen-haired young man. In them glowed a faint flicker of willpower and a continuously burning agitation that roused her to attention. I told you to stop being so kind to me. Why? It will be over soon. Please don't make any noise. To put an end to this family, you are my only... Why are you shaking? What? Upon hearing Mel's words, the strength drained from her slender fingers. He had not been questioning why she would do such a thing. There was, of course, a trace of bewilderment visible in his eyes. But he did not shout, nor did he tremble in fear. He instead expressed concern for the young woman, who looked like a cornered rabbit. I am not shaking. You are. I can see it. As he slowly regained his breath, Mel's voice too grew clearer. Conversely, the red-eyed girl's grew progressively more faint and raspy. You're not doing this because you genuinely want to. There is some other reason. This is what I desire. Have you been to my room before? You have. I'm sorry. Well, I'll be damned. Tell me, why are you shaking? You're not putting any pressure on my neck. Why haven't you run? Because I cannot fathom why you would do this, so I'm not afraid. Do you hate me so deeply you want me dead? Do you despise me to the point you'd be willing to take my life with your own hands? No, I don't. See? Like I said, there's another reason. If it isn't because you detest me, then tell me, why is it? I'm sorry. I'll leave your room now. I will do my best not to bother you any further, so please forget anything ever happened. Do you just think I'm just gonna say okay and let you go? Why can't you tell me the reason? I'm sorry. All right, then I'll try and guess. What? It has something to do with your lineage. You're troubled by it somehow. Am I right? I thought so. How do you know about that? The priest at the church told me he'd seen you before. He also told me, a little about your origin. But that's all I know. The only difference between us is social rank. I don't know what would cause you to do this. Please, tell me who you really are. Tell me why you came to this mansion, and why Father allowed you to be a maid. I haven't said anything to Mother or Father. If you're hiding the truth from them, they still don't know. But I want to. I won't get mad at you or have you punished. I'll even swear to God if you'd like. I want to be the prince who whisks you away. I want to be like the prince who rescued the girl from the dark mansion and showed her the world. I know I'm not that dependable, but I want to help you. Why do you show me such compassion? Why do you treat me like this? I have my hand around your neck. Why? I thought it would be obvious. Or have I not expressed myself well enough? I love you. Every time you push away, it crushes me. I didn't even know my heart could feel such distress. If you dislike me and don't want to be with me, then, well, I'll just have to live with that, as much as it may hurt. But if you have some other reason, some weight on your shoulders that you can't share with anyone else, tell me. I want to help you. There are other options. Things we can do about your... No, that's not it. Huh? I've tried to hate you so many times. So yes, there's more to it than just social status. But I can't do it. I couldn't make myself do it. What do you mean? I had so many chances, but I couldn't do anything. She spoke in a stifled voice, as if every word had to fight to escape her lips. She appeared so fragile, so precarious looking down on him that it seemed as though if a gust of wind were to whisk through the room, it would blow her away completely. Her pale fingers were trembling, like she tried to squeeze them again and failed. However, her hand did not pull away from his still slender neck. Her hand is so cold. He did not challenge her, but simply kept his eyes affixed on hers, as if carefully watching to see what she would do next. I'll say it as many times as I must. I love you, and I wouldn't be able to accept losing you without knowing anything. So please, tell me the reason. I guess name is not part of anything. I'll see to it that you're taken care of. Those are the words of a man of means, Lord Mel, of someone blessed enough to have pity for others. You're a foolish young man. You know nothing. But the greatest fool of all is myself. If you agree to punish me, I will talk. Tell me. Her long white hair and his soft flaxen hair touched. For just the briefest of moments, it appeared in the darkness as though they had fused together. The white-haired girl, having finally gathered the courage, began to slowly tell her tale. On the night of the storm, I paid a visit to Rose Manor, this mansion. My father and I were always on the move, traveling across the land by foot, so it was only recently that we heard rumors of Rose Manor. There are several reasons why we couldn't stay in one place. First is my unusual appearance. People often find the color of my skin or eyes disconcerting. So after living in one place for long enough, unsettling rumors would begin to spread, forcing us to leave. Another reason was my father's line of work. He painted pictures for a living, but he had trouble finding a patron, so he had to work day to day. When he was no longer able to find work in a city, we would move. We were birds that migrated without a flock. When we arrived at this town, my father was exhausted and weak. That is when we learned of Rose Manor and the family who dwelled within it. Rhodes is a name my father could never forget. He was, long ago, a painter in service of the Rhodes family. Hey, hold on. Your father was an artist here? Yes. It was before I was born, so you probably don't remember, Lord Mel. So, you knew about us before you came here? For as long as I can remember, I've known the name Rhodes. My father was chased from your house, just because they didn't like something he painted. Huh? Having failed the Rhodes family, no one else would become his patron. Just as a good reputation spreads, so too does a bad one. Branded once as a failure, no one will take you in ever again. Your nobles throw you parties and spread your gossip about this painter or that sculptor. The rose you tried to give me is an example of that. It was certainly crafted with skill, but the jeweler is only known because some aristocrat spoke highly of him. My father's paintings were no less skillful. His was a talent that could not easily be imitated, but no one was willing to separate the art from the artist. The Rhodes family stole everything from my father, but even thrown out onto the streets, his only skill was painting. That was all he could do to earn a living. What little money we had for food, he gave to me. He did anything he could to ensure my survival, even at the expense of his own well-being. My father passed away in this town. Up until his last breath, he was only ever concerned about me. He held me in his arms and ran his fingers through my hair, an apologetic look on his face. If I had had a normal appearance, I'm sure life would have been much easier. He was always telling me how sorry he was for making life so hard, even though it's not his fault I look like this. I disdained the Rhodes family, for putting my father through such hardship. I imagined you were still living in decadence, acting as though nothing had ever happened. No, you wouldn't even care about the fate of one simple painter. Our lives meant nothing to you. And so I sought to bring misfortune upon you. And that's why you tried to kill me? In truth, I had wanted to take the master's life, but your father spends so much time outside the mansion. And so, you're right. If they lost me, they would put my family in a very difficult position. That is the whole of my tale. You now know about my father and how I feel about you. Having told you of the blackness in my heart, I cannot go on living like nothing has changed. Please, give me punishment. Why? Why would you have me put the one I love through any more misery? I am not fit for your affection, not only because I am not aristocratic, but because every time I spoke with you, I did so holding this darkness in my heart. Does that not unnerve you? In the end, it was my family's actions that caused you so much suffering. Would that your father were still alive. Perhaps I could have done something. I'm sorry. And besides, you hesitated. You didn't actually kill me. What am I even to punish you for? As you said, you had countless opportunities, but could not bring yourself to do it. Tell me, why couldn't you kill me? Because If it's because I've given you enough reason to have even the slightest bit of interest in me, nothing was as I envisioned it. What? I assumed the residents of Rose Manor would be cold, people who believed that wealth and rank mattered above all. But on the night of the storm, the mistress was the first one to extend her hand to me. I arrived at the mansion disguised as a beggar. Actually, disguised is not the right word, as many nights I only survived on the generosity of others. The mistress did not send me away when she saw me, quite the opposite. She took me in, as a servant. So that was Mother's doing. I could scarcely believe she would invite in a stranger into her home, that she would treat a stranger with such compassion. I thought perhaps she knew who my father was. But I had never met any of you before, so she must simply be that kind-hearted of a woman. And the mistress continued to treat me with kindness, despite my disquieting appearance and the darkness in my heart. In time, I began to grow less and less sure of myself. Was what I meant to do truly right? Were the things I felt truly justified? But it was a certain fact that my father was here and that he had been chased out, so I decided I should take your life to put an end to everything before I wavered any further. And then, you were too kind to me. It's all your fault, because you laugh with such affection, because you give smiles like that, because you say the things you say. I'm sorry. No, don't apologize. I'm so happy to hear that, despite, the unusual circumstances. Please, don't say you want to leave. Don't ask me to punish you. I couldn't do anything for your father, but at least allow me to do something for the daughter he cared for so dearly. You are far too kind-hearted. I'll be happier with you around. You can become a real aristocrat. Huh? There are families that would be willing to adopt you, especially knowing it would bring them ties to the Rhodes family in the near future. Are you saying, as long as you're okay with that, of course. I don't understand. How could you possibly say that? I have my hand around your neck, even as we speak. It seems reasonable enough to me. I'm desperately looking for some way to not have to lose you. I couldn't. I don't know any etiquette or social customs. How could I? You can learn all of that. You're pretty and naturally graceful. You'll do just fine. You are such an aristocrat, Lord Mel. What? The way you can come up with compliments so easily. Only for you. Nellie says my poetry has as much charm as a dissertation. I don't understand theater. It puts me to sleep. You laughed. Thank goodness. Keep smiling. You don't have to stop. A smile on your face is a smile on mine. No matter how deep the darkness has taken root in your heart, it can always be removed. All right, Sora. I believe people are capable of forging their own futures. What do you say we go to the theater sometime? I promise I won't sleep through it. At the private theater. We can get seats at the far end of the second floor so we don't have to stand. They would be pretty lavish seats, and it would give you a chance to experience the noble life. But please, don't be shy. I can have clothes prepared for you. I'll ask one of the maids who can keep a secret. Say, the one with the black hair. She kinda scares me, though. I don't know what I'm supposed to say. How could you show such compassion for me? I tried to inflict harm upon you. Am I allowed to feel such joy? For every day you suffered, a day of happiness. That's how it has to be. So stand by my side. He softly whispered the girl's name. For several long moments her lip trembled in trepidation, but in time she squeezed them together and made a smile. Okay, so he knows her name, Nancy. We just don't know her name. Her name is a mystery to us. Right. He wrapped his arms around her unbelievably slender, frail frame, holding her tight in an affectionate embrace. Right, we did see a few letters of it. True, I remember that. It did a little bit and then it cut out. Mel approached me the next day. He explained to me the course of the events and then asked me to dress her up more beautifully than any other noble girl had ever been. Jeff, remember? Her name was Jeff. Now I remember. Now it came back. Her name was Jeff, remember? She was already a very pretty girl, so even without much effort on my part, simply putting her in a dress, she radiated beauty. I was quite partial to her smile, so I agreed to help, thinking that if it would lead her to their happiness, I could not ask for anything more. I never anticipated what would happen next, though. Perhaps my hopes were unreasonable after all. Uh-oh. Nellie. Uh-oh. Now, Nellie. You love the theater, so don't look so cross. Nellie was out with a man other than her brother that evening. A rare sight indeed. And she was quite clearly in a foul mood. I will not stand for this. That I should have to marry a man as disagreeable as Arthur. It's unthinkable. The young man at her side was Nellie's fiancé, selected by her parents. On any other occasion, she would have snubbed an invitation from any man who was not Mel, but she had little say in this matter. How's the audio? Are the vocals making it too hard to speak over? With so many vocal tracks, I have to be mindful of the audio levels. She was, for a lack of a better word, forced to go out with him. And oh, how furiously she had fought against it. She had shoved aside the Abigail trying to fasten her corset, locked herself in her room, and sobbed for quite some time. It required the combined efforts of several of us to get her ready and out the door for her date. Come now, you should at least pretend you're enjoying yourself. Or do you want people to think we don't get along? Do we get along? Well, I want to, for what it's worth. What it's worth to you is my name, not me. Are you really going to be like that? I went out of my way to take you to your favorite play. The least you could do is be a little kinder to me. What was it called again? Romeo and Juliet? It's been running for 6 or 7 years now. A family like yours or mine could pay to have a brand new script written. So why should we have to see an old play at a theater full of commoners? It may be private, but even so, I would rather just have a show put on at my estate. Stop talking already. Why should I have to marry someone like you? I have absolutely no desire to marry you. Whatever it takes, I will put a stop to this. I'll talk to Father as many times as I must. Please, don't make such a scene. It's shameful. There are people around, remember. You represent your family. Besides, our families are hardly strangers to one another. Try as you might, I doubt you can get rid of me. No matter what you say, you cannot break this engagement. You don't... Your parents gave you too much freedom, and look at what a spoiled little girl you became because of it. Goodness, you're going to be quite the handful. Oh, get off your high horse. No, you're the one on a high horse, Nellie. You're going to be my wife. You could at least put some effort into liking me. What happens when I take you to a social engagement and you act like this? It's shameful to the both of us. This coming from someone who used to call me Lady Nellie, what's your problem? When you choose to act like a lady, I'll gladly call you that again. Goodness gracious. Put yourself in my shoes for a second. I have to marry a bratty little girl because it'll help my family. How dare you talk about me that way? You're not a damned princess. Open your eyes. If you think talking to your father will get you out of this marriage, you're welcome to try. I doubt he'll have it, though. Otherwise, you can just go complain about it to your friends. Oh, that's right. As far as I'm aware, you don't have any friends. Enough! As you wish. This is so frustrating. Why should I have to listen to this jerk mock me? I have Mel. I know if Father won't listen to me, I'll ask Mel to talk to him. Mel will be able to convince him. Come on now, your favorite play is about to start. Maybe you should face forward. Enjoy it while it lasts. You won't be talking down to me much longer. What? Is that? Wait, Nellie! Get back here! What is that damned child's problem? I didn't give her permission to leave. Father will surely hear about this. I cannot have the roads making any more of a fool of me. You're fine. Don't be shy. But so many people are looking at me. That's because you're gorgeous. No, it's because I look strange. I assure you, that's not the case. It is true you have an unusual appearance. But right now, the unique color of your hair, your skin, and your eyes all serve to accentuate your beauty. You sound like a prince, Lord Mel. Huh? You think so? I mean, I did say I'd be a stand-in prince for you, but... I think you're a wonderful prince, not just a stand-in. Which makes you my princess, then. I don't... Aw, you're supposed to say, yes, I am there. You're gonna make me sad. I guess I'll just have to keep working at it until you submit. Oh, hey, the play's about to start. What am I supposed to be doing? Nothing in particular. Just sit back and enjoy the show. Oh, but there is one thing. Yes? If I start dozing off, could you maybe wake me up? Huh? What? Dearest Mel! Nellie? Dearest Mel, why are you... What are you doing here? I asked her to join me. It's nothing to get worked up over. It is. It absolutely is. How many times did I ask you to come with me and you wouldn't? You didn't even like theater, dearest Mel, and you brought her? You're right. I'm not especially fond of plays, but I wanted her to be able to see one. Why are you making such a big deal out of this, Nellie? She's not suitable for you. What? She isn't good enough for you. Why would you choose her? She's creepy, and you have no idea where she came from. Don't talk about her like that, Nellie. But you don't even know who her family is. I do. What? Lord Mel? It's fine. You just stay quiet. Like the other maids, she comes from a respectable house. I looked into it. However, circumstances prevent me from telling you what the house that is. No, you're lying. That can't be. She doesn't act like a lady. She lacks etiquette, and she probably can't even dance. You expect me to believe someone like her is from a good house? Enough already, Nellie. Mel yelled at me. You have my word. You don't have to worry about her. So please stay out of this, Nellie. It isn't any of your business if I spend time with her, is it? But dearest Mel. You need to stop hanging all over me, Nellie, and find someone for... Wait. What are you doing at the theater? Are you here alone? Oh, yes, dearest Mel, about that. I have a favor to ask of you. I've been waiting to talk to you about this since yesterday, but I haven't seen you at all. Settle down, Nellie. What is it? Father had me engaged without consulting me, and he picked Arthur, that disagreeable little... Oh, right, that. I already know. What? I heard it from Father. That reminds me, you didn't show up at breakfast this morning. I see now. It was because of your engagement. Dearest Mel. Is that who you're here with today? In that case, you should get back to him, rather than waste any more time with us. You knew I didn't want to get married, Mel, so why? Why didn't you talk Father out of it? Because it's your time, Nellie. If there's someone else you'd rather be with, then, well, you can try persuading Father, but... You're the only prince for me, dearest Mel. And a prince always grants his princess's wishes, doesn't he? I just want you to say you'll do that for me, dearest Mel. Lady Nellie. You stay out of this. It's all your fault. It's all because you showed up and you played your little tricks on him. I warned you about this rat, dearest Mel. She is not suitable for... I told you I'd had enough already. Oh. How much longer are you going to continue acting like a child? I can deal with you being a spoiled little girl, but how dare you derisive to someone else? Mel hit me. Lord Mel. Go on. The show's about to start. People are giving us dirty looks. Return to your betrothed now. I will apologize to him afterwards as well. You said you would always be by my side. That you would always be my prince. The time for make-believe is past, Nellie. No, I refuse to believe it. I will not have it. Nellie! My goodness, that girl. Are you not going to go after her, Lord Mel? No, just let her go. The only place she even has to go is home. I just wish she'd start acting a little more like an adult. I imagine Lady Nellie simply... She what? No, it just wasn't my intention to get between you. Don't blame yourself. It's not your fault we had an argument. But you two are so close. Well, yeah, we're siblings, so we're close, but nothing more. I do care about Nellie, and I enjoy spending time with her. But she's my sister. Nothing more. Anyway, sorry for making such a scene. No, I imagine she left her betrothed behind without saying anything. So I'm gonna go apologize to him. We have to keep up appearances. Stay here. I'll be right back. Very well. This isn't gonna go well. There's no way in hell this goes well. Master, what are your thoughts on the tale so far? Which of the siblings do you think was in the right, Master? The brother or the sister? Oh God, is this a choice? Arthur about to pop the fuck off on Mel. He's already fired up. Yo, existentially, welcome in. Poor white-haired girl. Are we in choice mode? Oh my, I apologize for the abrupt question. Did I startle you? What do I think? Yes, I believe Mel was probably right. He was also surely happier than her. As Mel had anticipated, Nellie fled from the theater, leaving her fiancé behind. She forced her way into a carriage, stopped outside, probably one called for a different nobleman, and ordered it to take her home. Mel's assumption was correct. The only place she had to return to was the mansion. Honestly, props to Mel for holding his shit together for his entire fucking life until now. The sun was beginning to set, and as a young lady, she could not simply go wandering through town alone. Nor did she have any acquaintances to take her in. Her world was, in essence, composed of two elements, her brother and the Rose Garden. They were the light of her life at Rose Manor. She lived a very isolated existence. You can say that again. Oh, it's all pink now. When she escaped back home, Nellie went straight to her room, locked the door, and began sobbing. The waves of her sorrow came crashing effortlessly over the levees. Tears streamed through the cracked walls of the dams, blocking her tear ducts. I'm not gonna fake cry. Why? Why? Why won't you help me, Mel? Why won't you take my side? The decor in her room appeared blurry through her damp eyes. Memories of the day she had it redecorated played back in her mind with crystal clarity. She told me she had no feelings for you. That liar! That liar! She let her emotions run wild, breaking glass craftworks, silver plates designed by famous foreign artisans, flower vases, all sorts of things. It was as though a beast had been let loose in her bedchamber. The vase she tossed shattered against a painting hanging on the wall, spraying water, porcelain and roses in every direction. It was the portrait she adored so dearly of her and her brother. And in what appeared to her like a metaphor for her life, the frame fell off its mounting and came crashing to the floor. Nellie darted over and scooped it up. The frame had broken, but the painting inside was unharmed. The two smiling children were still the very image of happiness, inseparable siblings gently holding one another's hand. My prince is no more. Though in her present state of mind, that image of happiness brought her nothing but misery. And the worse she felt, the more frustrated she grew at the smiling girl and kind boy of her past. The princess is no more either. You're not a princess anymore, Nellie. Some other woman has taken your place. I trusted you, Mel. I believed you would always be there for me. This painting is nothing but a lie. That's not the real Mel. That's not the real me. It's all a big fat lie. A lie. I wish this painting never existed. That it was never made. That I never had a brother. This painting. In a fit of emotional distress, she scratched feverishly at the painting she once considered precious. She put more force into her fingers than she, or perhaps anyone, might have imagined she could. Flakes of paint began falling off the canvas, and in time she noticed something peculiar. Huh? What is this writing? Something's hidden beneath the paint? Just a little more. A date? Why would that be hidden? What could it be for? Completed May 1587. 1587? She read aloud the faded, scratched-up handwriting. After staring blankly at the text for some time, the color in her face began to drain. What is this? How could this have been painted 16 years ago? I wasn't even born yet then, and Mel would have been just a baby. Is this not me? Is this not Mel? There's still more writing. Urged on by her rapidly pounding heart, Nellie furiously scratched away at the painting, even as her clean, pink fingernails were soiled with fragments of paint and blood. She did not stop. She was so overwhelmed by trepidation that she could not stop. She had a horrible premonition that something was about to happen, something indescribable, incomprehensible. This is how I envision your son and our unborn daughter might look several years from now. Your son and our unborn daughter? So this was a painting of the future. Then it really is of me and Mel. No, use your head, stupid. I'm only 14. 16 years ago, I wouldn't have even been inside Mother. But then who is this? Who's that holding Mel's hand? Who's that with my brother? More, there has to be. Ow! Found it. There is more writing. I have to know what this is. Calm down. Calm down, Nellie. It's nothing to get worked up over. I'm sure it's nothing. Calm down and read. There's nothing to worry about. If our unborn child... This is what the writing on the painting said. If our unborn child does not have your hair color, then you will probably not be able to take her in as your own. I will be punished, and my life made miserable. And so I pray that this child might have flaxen hair. Though is it a sin to wish she has in her a trace of me? I do hope it is a girl. What am I reading? I don't get it. Someone tell me, what does this mean? A painting from 16 years ago. Hair color. Sin. I do hope it is a girl. We got a little incestception going on. Yes? It's Nellie. Let me in. Lady Nellie? Oh, you changed out of your dress. That's a shame. It looked nice on you. It really did look so nice. Almost like you were a princess. Lady Nellie? Say, I've got a question for you. Do you mind? By all means. What color hair did your father have? I beg your pardon? Did you not hear me? Should I repeat the question? No. I assumed it would be about Lord Mel. I'm just so curious about where you got that white color from. My father was more tan than white, so I didn't inherit my paleness from anyone. I asked about your father's hair color. Well, why would you want to... There's no reason you can't tell me, is there? My father, had white hair. But that was simply because he was an older man. I do not think he was born with... Lady Nellie? Hey, guess what? I figured it out. I figured it all out. And it was so simple. There's only one difference between you and me. That thing Mel fell for is... Why do you have those? No, stay back. It's all in character. It's all in character. We've finally reached this point in the tale, Master. If your memory has been refreshed, then we can return to the mansion immediately. Very well, then. If you insist, Master, we shall proceed with the story. It was a stormy night, much like the one the white-haired girl had first arrived on. It was quiet as a crypt in the mansion, not a single light visible in the halls. The house sat in wait for the sun to peek out over the horizon. The darkness is, generally speaking, something that rushes by like a gust of wind as we sleep. The flaxen-haired young man too lay in bed, pale blue moonlight sporadically streaming through the gaps in his drawn velvet curtains as he attempted to submit to slumber. He was having difficulty drifting off, but as time trickled onward, he drew closer and closer to the arms of Morpheus. That's a cool way to talk about falling asleep. Suddenly, he sensed a presence in the room, much like the one from those nights some weeks earlier.
Is someone there? Answer me.
A slender, feminine figure pressed gently against his lips. There was no hostility in the motion, but rather a great deal of affection.
You're...
The silhouette faintly visible in the dark room was the same as that night. A flash of lightning shone through the drawn curtains, illuminating her beautiful white hair. Several silky locks spilled over her shoulders and brushed against Mel's cheeks. A couple of soft puffs of air tickled his face, as though she were silently laughing. Oh, this is fucked up. This is fucked up. He assumed her finger, held against his lips, was her way of telling him to stay quiet. She began to slowly, delicately trace the outline of his mouth, moving down his cheek and along his jawline as if over porcelain.
You're, rather more forward than I remember. Well, I suppose you always were quite daring. This isn't the first time you've sneaked into my bedchamber.
The boy said in an attempt to conceal his surprise. Do you remember the night she came to exact revenge on him for her father? Indeed, she had proven herself to be a rather bold girl once already. Exclamation point advisory?
It's dark. I can't see you very well. Why don't I light a lamp, or perhaps we could open the...
Before he could finish, the white-haired girl sealed his lips with her own. In the near-total darkness of his bedchamber, the two shadows appeared as one. They remained that way for several minutes. Their kiss was innocent, no more than the pressing together of two pairs of lips, and at the same time the white-haired girl lovingly ran her fingertips across his skin. When their lips separated, Mel gasped for air. It seemed he had been holding his breath. Slightly embarrassed at himself, he said,
Dearest Mel.
Whoa. Fucked up. The only emote reaction you can use, Earth Nuggets, truly. Wait, those aren't ruby red eyes.
Huh?
Nothing. He could not speak. The silhouette hanging above him was certainly the white-haired girl's. Or was it? Because his next words were,
Get off me!
He reflexively shoved the girl, straddling him aside. She rolled off the bed, landing on the cold floor, but slowly, gradually, she crawled her way back toward him. That wasn't very nice. Veiled in darkness, she slowly lifted her head. And then, another flash of lightning. The heavy fabric of the curtains rustled, bolts of light streaming between the gaps. Her flaxen irises glimmered. Though in the bluish-white light, they took on a twinge of almost a golden glow. No need to be so rough. This isn't the first time she's visited your bedchamber, is it, Mel? Or did I not kiss you the same way? Tell me, how does she run her fingers across your skin? What does she do when she nuzzles up to you?
Stop this madness! Nellie? Why would you do this?
Because you like white hair, don't you, Mel? You like white hair, which is why you fell for her, isn't it? So if I have white hair, then you'll fall for me too. Then I can be your princess again, dearest Mel.
Well, what are you even talking about?
He could not escape from her, from his sister's piercing gaze. Why? What happened? How could she? Questions crashed into the young man's mind like waves in a stormy sea, but none of them found answers. They simply caused him further perplexity.
Your hair. What happened to your hair? How did you get it that color?
Oh, this? You like my wig? But as soon as the words left her mouth, Mel was in motion, propelled by pure instinct. He clenched Nellie's shoulders tight enough to dig his fingers into her flesh.
You're hurting me, Mel. What did you do to her? Tell me, what did you do?
I made her leave. It was a perfectly reasonable decision. She was obviously not nobility and thus hardly fit to be a part of this household. But there's no need to worry, Mel. I'm here to take her place.
You sound like a mad woman. It doesn't matter if she was noble blood or not. She promised she would stay by my side, so why? How could you do that to her?
I promised you that long before she ever did, and I love you far more than she did, Mel.
Have you lost your mind? You're not making any sense. Where is she now? What is she doing?
It's always her with you. What more could you want from me? Tell me, what does she have that I don't? What do I have to do to get you to focus on me and only me?
We're siblings. Don't you understand what you're doing?
Oh, I understand it quite well. Far better than you do, dearest Mel. I even know that a former queen was executed for it. But if we don't get caught, there's no problem.
Nellie, are you saying you've always felt this way about me?
Oh my, you didn't notice, dearest Mel? You truly are a dense one. I guess romance just isn't your strong suit. But you've noticed now, haven't you? You know exactly how I feel about you, right?
Quit it. Enough. Don't say anything else. Stop. Stop having these insane feelings for me. It's disgusting. What are you laughing about?
Poor Mel. Content in your complete ignorance. All right, I'll tell you everything. Mel, you can only love blood-related women.
Huh?
His cackling sister appeared to him like some kind of inhuman life form. Her actions and incomprehensible exclamations slowly drained him of his strength.
What kind of deranged nonsense is that? I love her. She's
your sister, Mel.
Haha, very funny. How far out of your mind have you gone, Nellie?
Poor Mel. Do you honestly know nothing? Say, that her father was a painter? He painted pictures for a living.
Well, what of it?
For a time, her father painted for our family. You've seen the picture before, dearest Mel. The one hanging in my room of the two of us? That was painted by her father. He did a good job, didn't he? I kept asking and asking until you finally agreed to hold my hand. And how did you feel about that? You were rather embarrassed, weren't you? There is no H version of this, Drugs. It doesn't exist. Do you remember that day, dearest Mel? You couldn't possibly remember it. But there's a chance you might remember this. Before we moved to this mansion, we had a painter with white hair.
I don't remember any such thing.
He was, long ago, a painter in service of the Rhodes family. But that painter did something very, very bad, and because of that, he couldn't remain a part of our household. Do you know what he did, Mel? He lay with Mother. My father was chased from your house. If the child had been born with flaxen hair, then the painter would not have been thrown out. The baby would have been accepted as part of the family. But that wasn't how it turned out. The child had white hair. She didn't look at all like she carried the Rhodes family blood. But see, Mother had me. That I'm here is all the proof you need. The girl born 16 years ago didn't have flaxen hair. Up until his last breath, he was only ever concerned about me. He held me in his arms and ran his hands through my hair, an apologetic look on his face.
You're talking total nonsense. What proof do you have?
If you want to see it, I'll gladly show you. The artist left a message in the painting in my room. Tell me, am I truly wrong? What did that girl tell you?
You're lying.
What part of it is a lie, Mel? Everything I'm telling you is the truth. Why don't you go ask Mother? I'm sure she'd throw quite the fit.
Mother wouldn't.
The mistress did not send me away when she saw me. Quite the opposite. She took me in as a servant. It never made sense to me. Why would she hire a maid she knew nothing about, someone who just showed up at the door one day, and when I asked Mother to make her my maid, she stubbornly refused? From a good house? Don't make me laugh. If she were really nobility, she would have given us her name. But Mother was so desperate to cover up her mistake.
That doesn't make any sense. I don't believe a word you're saying. It couldn't possibly be true.
Wouldn't it be nice if you could bury your head in the sand? But Mel, feigning ignorance is a sin.
No! I refuse to believe it. Not a chance in hell.
You just don't understand anything. How I feel, how much I've suffered. Do you have any idea how long I've loved you, knowing that you would never accept my affection? But then, fancy that, you fell in love with your half-sister. Then I should qualify for your love too, shouldn't I, Mel?
Stop it! Enough! Shut your mouth! Not another word! I don't believe any of this.
Mel! I know you'll never love me. I know there's nowhere for me to run. Say, when we were kids, was that really me? Was I really by your side, Mel? If that painting tells the whole truth, I was never once did I get to be your princess. Not even once. Chat. Did she scalp a bitch? Be honest. Unreal. So Franco spoke to me the other night and said there may be points when you want to cut the voices because people think that you're not taking the plot events seriously. I continued them, as you saw. Are we cool with continuing them, or does it hit a point where it's like, does it seem like I'm just goofing it? Okay, I'm not. Okay, keep it up. All right, I just wanted to be sure because that's that's heavy, and like doing it with voices. Right, absolutely. Okay, cool. I needed to do like a temperature check on the room. I needed to do a temperature check because, it's a lot. And I didn't want to break in the middle of it and be like, yo, is this weird? Because it totally is weird. But yeah. All right. A little more tea. I have a little bit left. Yeah, should I keep doing the unhinged voice for the unhinged character? Is that cool? Or should I just like talk as if she's just a completely even keel and like totally cool? All right, sweet. Back to it. Dearest Mel, everyone just loves to dote on me. They're always telling me how pretty I am. Mother does, father does, and all the maids do too. I can do anything I want. So for me, acting like a spoiled child is the only form of rebellion I have. I don't have the kind of freedom you do, Mel. I'm just a doll for the family to play with. When I have visitors, it's only ever for show. So it's not my fault that I don't have friends. Dearest Mel, you're the only one who's ever cared about me more than anything in the world. Dearest Mel, I always knew how I would react if you fell in love. I would cry my eyes out. I would envy her to death. I would get angry as a bull. But eventually, I would have given up. I knew I could never have it my way after all. That my feelings would never bear fruit. So why? Why? Did she have to be your sister? Tell me, why?
Oh, dearest Mel, here you are again reading such hard books. Your eyes will go bad if you spend too long staring at pages. I'll be fine, Nellie. It's not like I'm reading 24 hours a day. No, that's not good enough. If your eyes go bad, dearest Mel, you won't be able to see me anymore. You worry too much. I can see you fine and well, my princess. Your hair, glimmering like the sun, and your beautiful smile. I can see you clear as day, and that'll never change. Plus, the skies are clear today, so you're even more radiant than usual. You know this is my favorite season. Winter's cold and there's not so much rain, I can't stand it. But as it gets closer to my birthday, the clouds go away. And I just adore the sun. Ah, yes, it's almost your birthday, isn't it? Have you decided what you're going to ask Father for? Not yet. I want pretty dolls and shoes with sparkling gems. And I also want a pretty dress like the ones Mother wears. A list that long is asking a bit much, even for Father. But dearest Mel, I already have what I want the most. So the truth is, as long as I have that, I don't need anything else. Oh, and what would that be? The hairpin they bought for you for the other day? Or maybe the song they had written for you last year? None of that, dearest Mel. Huh? Then what could it be? Now I'm really curious. What is it that's so valuable to you? That's a secret.
Whoa, the background change was really good.
Girls have so many secrets. I just don't know what to do. Say, dearest Mel, would you run your fingers through my hair? Just for a little bit. What's gotten into you, Nellie? Why are you so hungry for attention all of a sudden?
You can hide the text with circle. Oh, cool. Thanks, Bronco.
Please, dearest Mel. Oh, Nellie, what am I gonna do with you? Come over here. And I want to sit on your lap. Yes, yes, as you wish, my beautiful, beautiful little princess. Say, dearest Mel. What is it this time, Nellie? Right now, I'm so incredibly happy. Oh, and out of curiosity, who was it that you really cared so much about?
Oh, right, he dipped, right? He ran. Yeah. Okay. In a fevered frenzy, Mel fled from the mansion. Even in early summer, the night was cold. And to make matters worse, raindrops pelted him from head to toe. But that caused him little discomfort, for a far greater maelstrom of pain rampaged within his breast. At night, the town took on a different appearance, not simply for lack of illumination, but the people active within it as well. It was not a suitable place for a young aristocratic man to go wandering unattended. The darkness is not the abode of devils, but of beggars, thieves, criminals, and all manner of things undesirable. But despite that, he continued to run, knowing not where he was to head. He simply went where his feet took him, and where he arrived was the church.
Father! Father! God should be able to offer me counsel, to answer all my questions. About that painting, about her, and about Nellie's feelings. Not her lies, but the truth. Please, open the door! Open the door!
But as you might expect, the door was locked, and the priest showed no sign of responding to his calls. The sound of the pouring rain drowned out everything else. His head dropped feebly. He looked like a helpless little calf who had wandered alone onto a dark, precarious mountain path with no end in sight.
Why? Why won't anyone tell me the truth? All I want is for someone to tell me it's not true. Have I sinned? No. I didn't know anything. I didn't know. No, none of it's true. So I haven't done anything wrong. I'm not at fault. Am I?
Nevertheless, his sister's claims and her laughs continued to echo within his head. If he truly believed it to be false, he would have gone to look at the painting. That he could not was an indication that uncertainty had a stronger grip on him. Fragmented images of a white-haired painter fluttered through the back of his mind, but he desperately shoved them aside.
What good is the church? What good is theology? What good is God? I...
Something moved near the boy. It stood immediately behind him and grasped his light dressing gown. He had been so consumed in his own world that he had not noticed the person's presence until they were close enough to touch him.
What? Who are you?
Standing there was a beggar, dressed in tattered rags.
He's still begging at the church?
The hooded beggar tentatively extended his hand toward Mel, pleading for relief with sad, slender figures. Were he a generous young man, Mel would have given the beggar something. Were he generous, of course.
Lord, get your filthy hands off me. I don't have a damned thing to give you right now. Don't you dare touch me.
Suddenly, the beggar's head turned upward.
My eyes catch the beggar's.
Her hood fell back, revealing a hairless head.
Why?
And a pair of red eyes gazing bitterly, though with a familiar, distinctive glimmer, at Mel.
Red eyes?
She immediately covered her face and turned to run.
It can't be. The beggar that's always here was a...
But you said yourself they would not survive much longer. How could you be certain she was that same beggar?
Wait! Wait for me!
Perhaps as someone of such high social standing, all beggars appeared the same to you. Or perhaps you wanted to believe your meager generosity made a difference, that you did something of value. I will not say it is wrong to think so.
Wait for me!
I chase after the fleeing girl.
Though I shout for her to stop, she continues to run. The rain is so heavy, I'm afraid I might lose her. I'm terrified. But I didn't do anything wrong, did I? I'm begging you, please stop. I just want to talk. She comes to a stop at the corner.
Please do not go around this corner.
It's you, isn't it?
I'm sorry.
Why are you apologizing? What I said back there was terrible, and for that I am truly sorry. I didn't realize it was you. Please, come back to me. If you're concerned about social status, I'll figure something out. And Nellie's getting married off soon enough. Oh, yes. Nellie. Nellie did some horrible things to you. She's lost her mind. She was talking nonsense. But don't worry, she'll be out of the picture soon enough. I'll make sure you're safe. Say something, please. Are you angry? You're angry, aren't you?
I'm not angry at you. I'm not.
Did you know everything? Did you come to our house aware of everything?
What?
Did you? Tell me, please. The priest isn't around, and everything Nellie says is a lie. You're the only one who will tell me it's not true.
What are you?
Our relationship.
I don't understand what you're saying.
I see. You don't know. You don't know. It's for the best. Nellie's the only one who knows, and she'll be gone before long. Everything will be all right.
Lord Mel.
It'll all be all right. Let's go back. I'll make sure you're never put in danger again. I'm begging you. Stay with me.
My appearance is no longer suitable to stand at your side. You saw how unsightly I am back by the church, did you not?
Hair can grow back. That's not a problem.
Now I truly look the part of the hideous witch. But I am to blame. It was a sin for me to find happiness in your kindness.
What are you talking about?
My sin was falling in love with you. Not what happened to my father, nor how we had to spend our days.
There's no sin in that. We have our whole lives ahead of us, don't we? With enough time, this whole tragic mess will be behind us. Things will only get better from here. I'll be your prince, like the one who took the girl to see the outside world. So please, give me your hand. Come to me. Don't leave me all alone. I need you by my side. Please. I extend my hand around the corner. I sense her hesitating beyond the bend. I'm begging you. I can't see what's on the other side, but a vision of her reaching out to put her hand in mine wells up in my mind. But
That story never had an ending.
what? She doesn't take my hand.
I doubt the girl ever wrote that letter.
Ah. She's not there when I turn the corner. Why? How did things end up like this? Where did I go wrong, oh God?
Your error was likely your kindness, thoughtlessly, haphazardly spreading your generosity. But that generosity came from your own desire to avoid pain, for your own happiness.
What should I have done? I can't take this. Everyone was happy. Nellie used to laugh and smile. She once meant the world to me. How did things end up like this? It's not my fault. I didn't do anything wrong.
If you pretend like nothing happened, then perhaps they can go on smiling in your head. But regardless, you must follow the path you tread. It is your path alone, the path you chose when in the moment you decide to run. Make the wrong choice in those moments and you shall find yourself on the road to ruin.
I would have been better off not knowing. Better off in the dark. I just wanted those tranquil days to last. They were supposed to last forever.
At some point, your childhood must come to an end, and that ending may not be the one you anticipated.
I can't stand this world.
You yearned for a world that would treat you with kindness.
What should I do? What should I have done? Someone, please help me.
You should return now. If you spend too long out here, you're liable to catch a cold. Now, let us return to our own time. Man, Mel's all tangled up in a whole bunch of shit. Oh, we're back. Here we go. The crestfallen young man faded into the distance, and the decrepit double doors clacked shut. Through the shattered glass, you could see only the ruins of a garden, not a single rose growing within. You had evidently returned from the past. In the garden, weeds grew taller than people. You found it difficult to look at. A wolf howled in the distance. The children, the sea of roses, and the white-haired girl were nowhere to be found. You and the maid, who called you master, were the only people present in the mansion. What happened to them next? Oh, master, you would know better than I. My, you cannot remember? It seems this is quite serious, then. Worry not. My loyalty lies with you, master. The mansion has witnessed more yet. Let us make our way to the second door. Your hand in hers, the maid guided you back through the kitchen and into the tea room. Her palms were still cold. You felt as though you were clenching ice. Master, do you wish to know the truth no matter what may be hidden within? Or, if it's something you would be happier not knowing, would you rather remain in the dark? Oh, is that so? Am I accidentally skipping questions, or are they not actually questions? I wonder about their father. Yes, the flaxen-haired sibling's father. Do you think he knew about the white-haired girl? If he did, then perhaps he allowed her to stay because of how deeply he loved his wife. Thanks, Franco. Or maybe because he did not want people to find out about her. I expect he too experienced many different emotions. But those pages of his story remain untold. Their parents likely had a turbulent tale as well, but theirs is not of consequence. To whom? I could not tell you. You and the maid crossed through the entrance hall, continuing your trek. At some point, the fire in the fireplace had faded to embers, emphasizing the lack of light within the mansion. The maid took a candlestick and lit it in the cinders. the small flame illuminated her pale face. On a whim, you asked the maid about herself. About me? I am a maid devoted to your service, master, as I've said. Oh, what was that? You're interested in my name. You flatter me. I truly do appreciate the question, but you are more than welcome to simply call me the maid. Also, it would make me much happier to hear you say my name after you have recalled who you are, master. A subtle smile rose to the maid's face, after which she began to lead you down a first-floor corridor. Still holding the maid's hand, you passed in front of a full-length mirror. In it reflected the warm light of the candle, which disappeared out of range shortly thereafter. Oh my, is something the matter? Did you come across something peculiar? The maid had not appeared in the mirror. Though she was not the only one without a reflection. You reached the end of the corridor. There appeared to be a doorway, but the door itself was long since gone, leaving only a hole in the wall to frame the stairs behind it. Without hesitation, the maid descended into the darkness. You have more interest in this mansion, master, than in a mere maid, do you not? Though it pains me to say as much in your presence, master. This house is cursed. Yes, it is a curse that runs deep. As you just bore witness to, the majority of those who dwell within these walls fall into misfortune. I have served here for many years, and periods of happiness are as fleeting as a sugar cube and a cup of hot tea. Why did such tragedies befall them? If I were to guess, master, it was because you had not returned. But when you remember your true self, the mansion's curse should be broken. The next door is before us. It appeared to be an entrance to a cellar. The disconsolate wooden door was visibly rotted in several places, and it seemed it might crumble at a single touch. You could hear the sound of something devouring meat beyond the door. Maybe there was a beast living within. Before you had the chance to say you thought it was dangerous, the maid opened the door with a chilling smile on her face. Your first impression was that it smelled of blood. Door 2? Yo, door 2? Let me grab a little more tea. Let me re-up some tea. 1707, 100 years in the future. Yeah. Okay. 100 years later, door 2. First door was 1603. This is 1707. I'll leave you with this. Well, actually, I'll pause it because I'll skip it to the... When I get right back, I am going to keep going. Okay? Let me grab a little more tea. You know Mel is so dead right now? Well, yeah, he's 100 years old. The second door is 1707. I'm sure he and everybody else is dead. No, I want to stretch my legs really fast, Minky Moo. I'll be right there. Stick around. Hang out a moment. I'll be right back. Thank you so much for being here. This has been a ton of fun so far, and I'm excited to get back to it. We still got another, hour and a half of this, and my voice is totally chilling. I'm back with new tea. Ready to go. It's going to be hot for a little while, but let's get back into things. That was fun. That was wild. So I should tell you, I am a big fan of, intense psychological horror kind of stuff. Any sort of movie that, leaves you like, I don't smoke cigarettes, but the best way I can describe it is like when it's over, you just want a cigarette to like relieve some tension inside your brain. Like Seven is my favorite movie of all time. So any sort of like serial killer, really deranged, disturbing material, I'm all about it. I like David Fincher. He's my favorite director. I like a lot of media that puts you in a place where it's like, holy shit, are you sure? Are you sure? And yeah, this is kind of succeeding on that. Totally. What's up, Drugs? How are you enjoying it? How are you guys enjoying it? The first door, I mean, the character writing's really good. Really, really good. I'm excited to see how it all layers together, especially given that this second door is 100 years into the future. It's like a lot, a lot can change. A lot of crazy stuff's about to happen. I hope I'm doing it justice. If you're here and you've heard this story before, or if you're, like Franco and started it as a result of the first stream and got further than I am, hope you're having a good time. It's a tough one to, like, take a break and have a conversation like this. It's not like there's any downtime when I'm, reading it, So just wanted to kind of check in. Got my tea. Got everything established here. Bold move by the writers, having them all be zombies within the first, 5 hours. Hey, we don't know where it's going. Drugs. Anything could happen. This shit's long. That's the other thing that you guys got to know. This is long. And I'm reading it out loud. So, this is, 20 to 25 hours reading it in your head. If you're speed reading the story. We're going to be here for a while. We're going to be here for the next couple months, I think. Knocking out this story time a little bit at a time every Sunday. I'm excited for it. I'm glad you guys are along for the ride, along for this story, because, again, I've mentioned it before. Anybody I've ever heard talk about this game says by the end of it, you'll go through the ringer. It's kind of like emotional torture at points, but the way that everything comes together and the respect and understanding for character writing and different people's scenarios and circumstances and everything is really, really well done. So I'm excited to see it all expand. With that being said, we got nightmare music and we got Door 2, year 1707. The mansion sat in ruins in that era. Not a soul resided within. The grandeur of the house was lost to the ages. It was in perpetual decline. Not a flower grew in the garden. Dust and dirt blackened the plaster. Cobwebs blanketed the corridors. Ivy shrouded the outer walls. It was not a pleasant sight. As hard as I tried to fight it, I could not stop the mansion's descent into disrepair. The depth of the previous owner's grief, or perhaps despair, was far too much. After the beautiful flaxen-haired family, people stayed away from the mansion. They had no heirs, so their bloodline simply vanished into the depths of history. It had been about 50 years since the house last had a resident. The forlorn property appeared as though it had been abandoned for centuries, and the occasional villager who stumbled upon it did not remain there for more than a day. My time there was rather solitary. That was perhaps the loneliest time of my life. Everyone who visited the mansion feared it, and it was left without anyone to become its master. I even came to believe that my time serving as a maid would soon come to an end in this era. However, one day I noticed something out of the ordinary. As a servant of the house, I almost immediately aware of any new presence within the walls. And there appeared to be someone downstairs. Can you imagine just how delighted I was? Though part of me was anxious about what kind of person I might find, the possibility that it could be you had my heart aflutter. So resisting the urge to rush, I headed for the basement. The cellar was where red wine, smoked meat, and other preserved foods were kept. By that point, the wine was practically antique. As I had expected, a man had made his way into the cellar. Is anyone there? Although I am unsure if referring to him as a man is entirely accurate. Oh my, this is quite something. The very first thing I sensed was an almost unbearable stench. The odor emanated from the man, heightened by the food he had carelessly rummaged through. Blood-red liquid spilled from wine barrels, soaking the floor. His sunken eyes had a piercing wolf-like glimmer in them. His teeth were sharp and yellowed, visible as he ripped into a chunk of meat. He grumbled in a seemingly inhuman tongue. I was looking at a beast, or perhaps a There was another source of odor in the room, though. It had something of a kind of metallic tinge to it. And when I noticed this, I nearly passed out. The red liquid was not just wine, as I had assumed. The beast had, I presumed, stolen a weapon from the village, a sword far too nice for him to lay on the floor by his side. I could hardly imagine how many people's lives he had taken with that blade. It was visibly wet with blood, even in the darkness of the cellar, but at the same time it had an imposing gleam. The fine, luscious aroma of the wine could not mask the stench of blood and the beast. Holding my breath, I took a few moments to ponder. Ponder what? Oh, master, you know. Tell me, were you summoned here by the mansion? Did you come here knowing what kind of place it is? If you are in want of money, you are welcome to help yourself to some of the furniture. And I imagine the villagers would be willing to welcome you if you dressed yourself up a bit more like a person. Then you could trade the furniture for food and make your way to a larger town. The wolf was able to fool the innocent little girl simply by putting on clothing after all. Oh dear, I was afraid you wouldn't understand me. What am I to do? I was in quite the predicament. Nevertheless, it meant a great deal to me, then, that I had found someone who did not fear the mansion, be they human or beast. So I decided I should give him my assistance, while doing my best not to agitate him. Say, could you, perchance, be my new master? You heard it. It was like... The mansion sat near the ocean. To say it was perched upon a cliff might make it sound rather intimidating, but you could see the beautifully clear sea through the windows, a glittering expanse of emerald and turquoise. If the mansion had been in proper condition, it would have been breathtaking against that backdrop. Were you guys able to hear, like, the scary violin strings that was his voice? I hope you could. I can turn it up a little bit if you couldn't. You could hear it? Okay. I even wanted to plant orange trees in the garden. Though it was a tumultuous era, the sun still shone bright upon the land, which only served to emphasize the house's unsightliness. Oh yes, perhaps I should give you more background information. At that period in time, a war had just drawn to a close. The once gorgeous wetlands were infested with crows picking at decaying remains. Bodies of soldiers fallen in battle continually washed up upon the shores of coastal villages. The people wanted nothing more than for the curtain to draw on that deeply political contest. And when it finally did, the kingdom, with its richly fertile shores, was stripped of its independence, beginning a new era under new rule. The people were exhausted, their spirits wasted away, and the splendor of the ocean and sky did nothing to help. In my mind, the beast was emblematic of the times, emaciated and enveloped in the scent of blood. But the war came to an end. Thus the beast did not have to remain a beast, I thought. Did he? And so I endeavored to make the beast more human-like. First, I needed to do something about his appearance. I would draw a bath, scrub away all the filth, and dress him in clothing left in the mansion. However, having sat unused for 50 years, the majority of garments had been devoured by insects, and were of little use. So I searched the mansion top to bottom for anything the beast could wear, heated up some coals, and set to work ironing what I had found. At the time, steam irons had not yet been invented. We used plates of iron heated with coals. They somewhat resembled kettles. I even prepared meals for the beast, in order to teach him proper table manners. Although, with the mansion in a nearly uninhabitable state of disarray, there was only so much I could do in the kitchen, and the only supplies I had to work with were what was left in the cellar. As such, I was not able to put to use the cooking skills I had learned in the flaxen-haired family's time. Now, you mustn't eat with your hands. Do you want to get your fingers and face dirty? You eat using a knife and fork. See, like this. I feel like I'm teaching a young child. Oh my, what are you holding your head for? Oh dear. Perhaps I should be teaching you to speak before table manners. Worry not, we have plenty of time. You needn't act so frightened. Or perhaps you do not want to be understood at all? Would you be so kind as to tell me your name? You are, for now, still a guest. It is too soon for me to call you master. Or am I mistaken? Your name? That is what people call you. How about I start by telling you my name? I am called Bestia. 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 Your name is Bestia? I see. Then that is what I shall call you, Bestia. My, you seem to be rather perplexed as to how I was still alive. He had in fact attempted to cause me harm. However, I am a servant of the house. The beast called himself Bestia. It is a curious thing. When I learned his name, he seemed to take on a new importance in my mind. He was not a mere beast, but the thing called Bestia. Master. Should I ever have the chance to hear your name, I am certain you too shall become more substantial a presence. But you must always remember, Master, that even if you do not remember your name, and even if you never know mine, you have always held a special place in my heart. And thus began my tranquil days with Bestia. Slowly he began to learn the human tongue, and I was, to be quite honest, rather thrilled. To be certain, I was afraid of the beast, but my fear was not so strong as my elation that there was someone else in the mansion, someone to whom I could speak, and someone that might become my master. Come now, you must pull weeds out at the roots or they will soon grow back. This is a task that requires perseverance. You do it like this, see? There you go. Grass. Oh, did you not expect that? What appears to be many plants on the surface is actually all connected within the soil. This is a task that requires a man's strength. If there were other servants, they could do it, so I apologize for making you tend to the garden, future master. Or perhaps, now that you're all dressed up, do you wish to leave the mansion and find someone to fool, as the wolf did the sweet little girl? Have you no interest in remaining in such a disheveled house? Go on. Not want leave. Yeah. Non-fungible token. Oh my, is that so? If you wish to stay, then I shall not stop you. On the contrary, I will gladly attend to you. I am waiting for the person who is to become my master. Forever waiting. I should be able to watch over you until the day you depart this world, old and wrinkled. Do you not believe me? Are you interested in becoming the master of this house? Will be. I have to wonder if you know what you're saying, although it matters little whether you do or not. Oh my, Look at that. Now this brings back memories. This is called a rose. Do you know what a rose is? It is a type of flower. Not know. Do not know. I see. Then allow me to teach you. What you have here is not a real rose. The real roses wilted and are sleeping in the soil. This is called an accessory. It is something women wear. The beast held an ornamental white rose in his hands, an object someone sometime meant to give to someone else. Curiously, the white rose was just as stunning as it had been the day it was made, despite being buried in the earth for so many years. I hear roses make wonderful gifts. He stared intently at the decorative rose. I had presumed the beast would either discard it disinterestedly or destroy it, but much to my surprise, Bestia held it gently in his hands, as though it were something precious to him. Are you, perchance, considering giving it to me? So you're not. Very well. Is there someone else you would like to give it to? In that moment, a thought floated through my mind. The thing I had found in a pool of blood in the cellar was a monstrous creature indeed, but perhaps that was not, at his core, what he truly was. So I asked him a question. What is it that you desire, Bestia? This mansion fulfills people's desires. If you yearn for something,
Look at that filthy thing. A beast! It's a beast! It's eating goddamned sand! You really that hungry? Beast, you foul creature! Stay the hell back! Get any closer! Filthy beast! And I'll kill you!
Several days passed by. As Bestia began to act more like a person, the mansion followed suit, slowly becoming more habitable, though not yet back to its former glory. No flowers grew in the garden, but neither were there weeds infesting it. The dusty corridors, shattered windows, rust-covered kitchen gradually returned to their proper states. Bestia learned how to change his own clothes and how to draw a bath. No longer did I have to wait on him hand and foot. He could take care of a number of things all by himself. What we lacked for food, he acquired from the forest. Never did he go to purchase supplies from the village. Rather, he captured hares and gathered herbs hidden in the undergrowth. They were days without incident. And through such a life, maybe want for excitement, peace is something that you mustn't take for granted. Those who have it cast it aside, finding the leisurely flow of time dull. Only those who have never experienced it truly know how precious it is. Bestia appeared to be content. He wore an expression of solitary serenity.
Someone! Is anyone there?
And then one day, a crack formed in the uneventful tranquility.
Is anyone in there? Could you part with some food? I don't need much. Some food and water. Just a little. That's all I need.
Bestia looked over at me as if seeking my aid. Ironic. No, it was the visitor who was truly in need of aid. I pondered it for a few moments, deciding that I could not simply turn away someone calling upon the mansion. Had Bestia ordered me not to let him in, I would have followed his instructions, but he said nothing. Only half sand.
Oh, thank God. Someone's here. I was afraid it was deserted.
You said you were in need of sustenance?
Yes. It doesn't have to be much. Anything to quench this thirst. I got lost, and it's been several days.
Give me a few minutes. I will find...
Let him in.
A firm, deep voice came from behind me. I was quite startled. When had the beast learned to act so much like a human? When did he learn to speak so clearly? and to behave so much like a master. Ah. Upon seeing Bestia, a look of terror appeared to cross the wanderer's face for a moment. To my eyes, Bestia was the very image of a head of house, but to an outsider, he probably appeared to be nothing more than a beast in a man's clothing.
Prepare him a meal and a bed. I suspect he is quite tired.
Thank you very much. But in time, the fear drained from the man's face. Bestia sat precariously on the border between man and beast. Though he still had his doubts, the wanderer revised his first impression, deciding Bestia was human. As the wolf had fooled the little girl in the forest, he too had succeeded in playing the role of a man. I thought I was a goner for a while there, but you really came to the rescue. And a meal like this on top of that? You really didn't have to. Though I guess that's not an appropriate thing to say as I'm eating. What kind of meat is this? It's damned tender for rabbit, and here I thought it was beef. You have quite the skilled chef. Oh, is she the one who cooked this? Is she your wife? Oh no, I'm merely a servant. A female servant, huh? Don't see that very often. This mansion's just full of surprises. I can hardly believe it. Lost for days, and as soon as I think I'm dead, there it is. Thinking back on it now, it's miraculous. But why are you two living alone in a house on a cliff? Oh, I beg your pardon? Asking so many questions without telling you about myself. My apologies. Just a little too excited to finally see other people. I'm a merchant. I do international trade. Until a few years back, spice exports pretty much all came from one place. But now that we've established trade routes of our own, my country's fighting tooth and nail to push its exports. And in fact, some have lost a few teeth in the fight already. But that's just how it works. It's a cutthroat world. You do what you must to survive. That's just how it works, the merchant said, a sorrowful look on his face. He was quite clearly putting on a show, though. Confidence in himself and his homeland radiated from that man. I came to this land to do business, but much to my chagrin, I somehow ended up lost in the forest. Had I wandered about for much longer, I'd have lost the chance to ever see my beloved again.
Your beloved?
Yes, sir. I'm constantly out on business, so we only get to see each other a few times a year. But she always waits for my return. I'd like to introduce you to her if I ever get the chance. She's a pretty girl, if not especially striking.
Is that so?
The merchant was a man of many words, and I, for one, do not mind a lively supper table. Though I know not how Bestia felt, at the very least, I was glad we had invited the wanderer into the mansion. He was, after all, holding a proper conversation with someone, and he seemed to be having success concealing his piercing, beast-like gaze. However, oh, right, I stopped by the village before entering the forest, and I heard a bone-chilling tale there. As soon as the merchant brought up the subject, a palpable tension spread through the room. They say there have been sightings of a beast. It's a creature unlike anything anyone's ever seen before. Not a wolf or a bear or anything like that. It even attacked the village once, killing several people. Thankfully, the men managed to drive it out, but the creature's still alive. There's nothing in this world scarier than a vicious beast. So you should keep an eye out. I wouldn't want to accidentally let a murderous beast into your home. At the villagers' insistence, I had the smithy forge me a knife.
Is that knife?
Huh?
With you now?
Well, yeah, I've got it on me. Only good to defend myself with, but it's better than...
That knife. You brought that knife. You are here to kill me with that knife?
What?
You're going to stab me again and again with that knife like they did last time? That's why you're here, isn't it?
What? What are you talking about? What's gotten into you?
Stab and stab and stab.
Calm down. What are you so worried about? I'm not gonna hurt you with this. Whoa. What did you just say? Ah! I like to imagine that before the wolf ate the poor little girl, he said, "Is this what I always looked like?"
That beast.
What's your problem? What's wrong? Talk like a human.
It's me.
Stop! Stay back! Get any closer and I'll stab you to death.
You act like you only just realized I'm a beast.
Ah!
That's right. I'm a beast. I killed them.
Stay back!
And I'll do the same to you.
Help! In his hand, Bestia held his sword. Perhaps it had been hidden under the table, or maybe behind his chair. Regardless, it was as though he had expected this to happen. The merchant kicked aside a chair, attempting to flee, but Bestia closed the distance in an instant, knocking him back. He lost his balance and slammed against the wall, but still he made to escape, though the beast stood blocking his path. No! Please! Stop this! Don't kill me! My beloved is waiting for me back home! I can't leave her behind!
And why should I care?
A dreadful scream echoed through the dining room. I reflexively covered my ears. Please help! Anyone! Someone! Anyone!
No one's going to come for you. This mansion's a long way from town.
Help! That woman! Where did she... Why isn't she here? She was just...
You'll kill me if I don't kill you, and so I must show you that I will. I must show you that I'm serious. I must kill you, or you won't understand. You just won't understand. If I don't show you firsthand, you won't understand. I'll make you understand. I'll make your flesh and bones understand. Kill. I'll kill you. I'll kill you.
Ah!
Kill you. Monster. That's right. I am a beast.
I think the merchant gets it at this point. Yeah, I think he gets it. I think he's understood. They had been enjoying a peaceful meal around the table together just minutes earlier. Can you believe this? See what had triggered this? If I were to guess, the merchant saying the words knife is what caused the beast to snap. A simple, small thing set him off. I could not comprehend it. Bestia, who had said he wished for peace, was staring down at the ravaged corpse of the merchant, with a look of ecstasy on his face. Master, can you understand how he felt? Even just a little. Did he not yearn for peace, but for slaughter? All right, that does it for today's shopping. And now the moment we've all been waiting for, snack time. There's nothing better than having a ham sandwich in the park. Oh dear, maybe I should lower my voice when I'm talking to myself. But it's so nice out. I just can't help myself. Does the weather have anything to do with talking to oneself? Not important. Food, food. If he were here, it would taste even better. I wonder when I'll get to see him next. Pauline! Pauline! There you are. Oh dear, what's got you so frazzled, Mom? Oh, Pauline. What is it? Did something happen? What's the matter, Mom? Mom? Pauline. This isn't like you, Mom. It's not like you at all. Tell me what happened. I told you to stay away from men who trade. Huh? Oh, Pauline, my dear daughter. Why must God be so cruel to such a sweet girl? You're hurting me, Mom. Don't squeeze so tight. What's gotten into you? Listen carefully, Pauline. You must be calm and hear me out. Understood?
Your lover, the beloved man you wait for, is dead.
Nothing. Sand sandwich. The beast's humanity began slipping away from him after that encounter. He had returned to the thing I had found in the cellar. Actually, he prowled the mansion's halls looking more barbaric than ever. Despite all the effort he had put into learning to act like a human, he now ripped the velvet curtains off the wall, howling shrilly, stomping back and forth through the hallways and ravaging the garden. I watched him intently, though from a distance. Bestia was not merely a beast, but an out-of-control, bloodthirsty beast. Just a few days ago, we had been tending the garden together, but that was no longer possible. I was quite disappointed. Eventually, Bestia discovered my hiding place. I had not felt regret in a very long time, but I felt deep regret in that moment.
More. Don't have enough. Not enough. I need more. I need more. I must satisfy these urges.
Are you saying peace was not enough to sate you? Did I mishear you when you asked for peace?
I was mistaken. Asking for peace won't solve anything. Blood, despair, eyes filled with terror. These are the things I need, and I've always known it. You said this mansion fulfills people's desires. Then, give me prey. No more hairs, live humans.
Why did I ever teach him to speak human language? Before long, the mansion granted his wish. Once a week, a villager or a traveling merchant from somewhere would wander into the forest, ending up at the mansion on the cliff. Though something felt suspicious about the man who greeted them at the door, on the surface he looked like a proper nobleman. So they all eventually chose to trust Bestia. The mansion had an air of loneliness about it, but it was adequate to provide rest for their weary feet. There was food and a bed, and most comforting of all, there were other people. The lord of the house treated the lost souls like esteemed guests. He poured them fine wine and had me cook for them. No one suspected in the slightest that he was a beast. He put on a reasonably convincing act. Yo, this is just the 7th guest. Door number 2 is just, we just like turn into the entire game the 7th guest. Because yes, I had taught him how to behave like a master. The visitors all went to bed contented. But, as I'm sure you can imagine, Master, they would never see the light of day again. The penetratingly bright sunlight particular to this area.
A beast! It's a beast! You disgusting creature! You hideous monster! Kill him!
If that's how you humans want to do things, then I'll play your little game. I'll play it. Even better than you. I'll kill you. I'll slaughter you.
No, please don't!
That's it. Cry for me. Beg for your life. Pray for my mercy. Weep and struggle and suffer and die. No one understands. No one can possibly understand my despair. What did I ever do? Was it just because I'm a beast? When did I become a beast? Why do beasts have to die? Beasts are savage and so they must die. I'm a beast, therefore I'm savage.
It's a logic puzzle.
In which case, I'll kill them. I'll show them what makes a beast so terrifying.
Moonlight crept through the torn velvet curtains, shining down upon the blood-soaked beast. It was a sight that would incite terror in anyone.
Look at this. No one can stand up to me. Humans have no chance against beasts. More. I need more. Give me more prey.
The mansion continued to sate the beast's demented craving, sending not one but multiple villagers into his claws, into these blood-stained walls off which echoed his monstrous howls. "Stop, please, I'm begging you! Spare me! Oh, God!"
Sorry, I'm not familiar with your god. Beasts have no need of gods.
I have a wife and son back at the village. Please, let me return to him.
Why don't you bring them back to me? I'll send them to the same place you're going.
Oh, I like that shot.
I'm with a child. Please, let me go.
Are you now? In that case, I'll kill the baby first.
You damned monster!
That's right. I'm a monster. And by killing, no one can defy me. I have to show them the world that beasts are the most frightening things on this earth.
The beast began to change his style, making sick banquets out of his kills. Some days, he would tie his guests up in the cellar, playing with them for hours until they finally died. Some days, he would drain them of their blood and bathe in it. Some days, he would spread them out on a table and feast upon them. Every week, another atrocious party. He did everything imaginable. As a faithful servant of this house, I am confident I can do most anything I'm asked. Drugs, that shouldn't be your takeaway. lot of stuff going on. Live your life. Not the takeaway I would vocalize. Though you can surely imagine my surprise at having to use the cooking skills I learned while serving the flaxen-haired family to do that. I can only wonder if it actually tasted any good. Bestia's peculiar sword was always with him for his twisted banquets of self-gratification. However much blood stained it, it never lost its sheen. It was as though the sword drank of the flesh of humans. Master, can you imagine just how wretched I felt? The mansion, once a beautiful sight to behold, reeked of death and acrimony. The stench of rotting flesh seeped up from the cellar. Even the years it spent forsaken and in ruins were preferable to that. Or perhaps I only had myself to blame. It was I who had invited the beast into the mansion.
More. Not enough. This isn't enough to satisfy me.
But Bestia still sought to hold more of his perverse parties. Lost villagers were no longer enough to quell his urges. He was, indeed, a genuine beast. And in time, this is what he began to wish for.
Can't you get me any better prey? Something truly exquisite. The perfect prey to quench this maddening thirst of mine.
Do you know what he meant when he asked for the perfect prey, Master? Perhaps a hero. Someone courageous enough to stand up to him, with whom he could enjoy a battle to the death. Perhaps a dazzling young nymph to satisfy his other primal urges. Or perhaps what he wanted was not human at all, but a demon, or a phantom. I would soon find out, as the mansion attempted to grant his wish, bringing yet another guest to the house on the cliff. Ooh, who's it gonna be? Who's it gonna be? Who's it gonna be? Who's it gonna be? If the devil guides us, if God guides us, then perhaps I could accept that this was fate. Then it makes sense that I am here. Is anyone there? I've lost my way. Would you please be so kind as to spare me a little food?
Ah, there it is. There comes the poor little offering. They never learn. They just keep coming, again and again. The mansion keeps granting my wish. I would be glad to provide you some food. And you are welcome to stay the night. Get some rest. I will have a room prepared.
Yo! Well, look who it is. It's another white-haired girl coming up to the door. 100 years later, red eyes and white hair. Well. Then I suppose I shall take you up on your generosity. I've been wandering for a very, very long time. What was that, Master? You recognize her? I imagine you would. That white hair, those red eyes, skin the cover of freshly fallen snow, and that flawlessly beautiful visage, you could not possibly mistake her for anyone else. And no, it is not someone who happens to resemble her. I can understand why you'd be surprised, Master. At first, I could hardly believe my own eyes. The Wanderer, knocking on the door that day, was the very same fair-skinned young woman who visited the mansion so many years earlier. The white-haired girl must have spent many, many a night in the forest. Her crystalline skin was covered in red scratches from where she had brushed against stray branches and tree bark. She had even lost her shoes, and was standing there barefooted, looking quite disheartened. But that did not make her any less beautiful. In fact, you could just imagine the dense forest canopy parting to allow the sun to shine down upon her. The beast appeared surprised by her angelic beauty as well. It seemed as though all the madness drained from him in that moment. He said nothing, but his eyes told all. He was entranced by the sight of her ruby red irises and her pure white hair. Pardon?
I am a beast. This is what I asked for. Something to quench my thirst. You're allowed to be happy.
But as I said, it was only for a moment.
So rejoice. Imagine just how gratifying it will be to see just such a beautiful woman writhing in the throes of death. Follow me. I will have a bath drawn as well.
And once the moment had passed, Beast was barely able to contain the wellspring of madness within himself. He wanted nothing more than to run his sword through the white-haired girl that very instant, to torture her, to defile her. He tended to her wounds, served her supper, and drew a bath for her. And afterwards, the beast even made to provide her with a dress to wear. Even the outfit she had only worn for one night so many years before was there, waiting for someone to put it on again, for her to put it on again. He said she could choose anything she liked. She, being such a modest young woman, said she needed not of such fine attire. And what a shame that was. I too wished to see her in a dress once more. I need not such fine clothing.
You needn't be modest.
No, that's not why.
Are they not to your liking then?
No, my apologies. You're very generous.
Foolish girl. Smiling and calling me generous. I was simply imagining what a pretty sight it would be. The sight of her fresh blood splattered on it. The sight of her life slipping away in it.
I'm glad that, after wandering for so long, I ended up here in this mansion.
And in a few hours, you'll be feeling the exact opposite. Get all the rest you need. I shall see you again in the morning.
I thank you. Bestia then made his way out of the girl's bedchamber. His mask came crumbling off after only taking a few steps.
There, that's precisely what I wanted. Just imagining how such a beautiful woman will scream, how she'll beg for her life. Hey, are you there? The mansion has given me the perfect offering. Hey, is she not here?
Is someone there? Yes, I came by to ask if there was anything you needed. I cannot offer you anything extravagant, not like before, but I am here to provide you with anything in my capacity. I appreciate the offer, but I need nothing. Being allowed to stay the night is more than enough. Do you work here in the mansion? Yes, indeed I do. I've been here for a very, very long time. A very long time. You might think this is an odd question, but have we met before? Something about you seems familiar. Her mouth like kind of agape, like you really forgot. And I get the feeling I've been in this mansion before. Yes, we have met. It was quite some time ago, though. When was it? It was an unimaginably long time ago. Do you remember a boy and a girl with flaxen hair? Flaxen hair. I apologize. My memory fails me. Do you not remember me, either? I see. You should probably not push yourself to remember, then. There were joyous times, and there were less than joyous times. But would you be so kind as to answer one question? What might your name be? My name? My name is... I see. So you are, again. Again? You should get some rest. I'll make tea for you in the morning. Also, go on, close your eyes. But Bestia never waited for morning to come. With his sword that smelled of blood hanging from his hip, the beast slowly, ever so slowly, crept toward the room where the white-haired girl slept. The time was soon approaching for the bloodthirsty beast to paint the walls with the young woman's blood, to turn her bedchamber into a gore-splattered altar upon which he would offer her to the devil. However, when he opened the door, the beast could hardly believe his eyes. She was not asleep, but was sitting there, as if expecting Bestia's arrival.
Why are you awake? Do you not go to sleep?
I heard footsteps, so I...
What were you planning to do when I got here? Surely you didn't think we'd be having a nice midnight chat.
I was hoping to ask what it was you wanted.
To ask what it was I wanted? Do you even realize what you're saying? Can you not see what's in my hand? You know exactly what I came here to do. Aren't you going to beg? Aren't you going to plead for your life? Aren't you going to ask me not to kill you?
If it's necessary. But is that what you want?
What I want is something much, much more gratifying than your pleas. I want to hold a banquet. It's not enough. No matter what I do, it's not enough. But you will be enough to satisfy me, to quench this unholy thirst, to completely, wholly fill me to the bursting point. You want to know what I desire? I desire to devour you.
Ah! Bestia shoved the girl back, slamming her into the mattress. He then stabbed his sword through the sheets beside her, looking down upon the girl, the moonlight at his back. Clenching her slender throat with one hand, he drew his sword once more, holding the tip but inches from her nose. No matter how much blood it drank, the sword continued to shine gloriously, as though it had just come from the forge. It was an awe-inspiring, tear-shedding blade, the sight of which would cause anyone to imagine the misfortune about to befall them.
Go on, mock me, ridicule the hideous, barbaric beast standing before you. From the moment you saw me, you thought me unsettling, no? but you averted your eyes. Because I had food for you. Because I gave you a place to rest. You pretended not to notice the beast. This is retribution. Retribution for you damned humans. So beg for your life like they all do. Cry. Plead for mercy.
If you say you're ugly, then I must be equally ugly.
What?
What came from the girl's mouth was neither a plea, nor an insult, nor a scream. Full-grown men had wept before him, and yet this slight, young woman did not. Despite this terrifying beast being upon her, moments away from extinguishing her life, even I almost shrieked in fright. Bestia could not believe neither his eyes nor his ears.
Do you not fear me? Can you not see what I'm about to do to you?
What am I to be afraid of?
I'm threatening to murder you. To rip your intestines out with these claws and watch you die in agony. I enjoy it more than anything in the world. Filling others' hearts with fear. The more lives I take, the more I enjoy it. I'm a beast driven by madness.
What he expected was for the beautiful girl before him to desperately implore him for mercy. He wanted nothing more than to see deep despair seep into every corner of his red eyes. For he believed that it would be a truly sublime moment, euphoria unlike anything he had experienced before. Bestia prodded her with his singular sword, poking a slit in skin smoother than silk. You see me as pitiful, and so you're offering me release from my fate. But she did not do as the beast wished. She looked up at him with sympathy rather than fear. This rattled the beast. He had never once seen anyone respond to him that way.
What on earth are you talking about? What is going through your head? Pity, release. Do you not comprehend the situation? How can you be so calm? Scream, cry, and shout. Beg for me to spare you. Throw me at your feet. Throw yourself at my feet. Otherwise, I'm a beast. A beast that never tires of killing.
To me, you appear to be a person.
You're lying.
You listen to the things I say, and you respond with your own words.
I was taught how to speak. I'm a beast who speaks human language.
But you think. You use your mind to come up with responses, and you hesitate.
If I'm a human, then why do they disparage me so? Why do they reject me and try to kill me? Because I'm a beast. A repulsive beast. That's why, isn't it?
I will do nothing to hurt you. We're alike.
Alike? Don't be ridiculous. How can you say we're alike when you're as beautiful as you are?
There's nothing beautiful about me. What value does outward appearance have? You've suffered much persecution, which is why you tremble in fear.
I'm not trembling. I'm not afraid.
I can hear the cries of your heart.
What on earth is wrong with you? Why are you not afraid? Why do you not scream in terror?
I am afraid, but more than fear, I feel like I now know what my role is.
Your role?
If you will have me, then I would like to remain here in the mansion.
Are you mad? I will eventually kill you, torture you, put you through hell, make you wish you were never born.
That does not change my mind. Please, allow me to stay. I find it very hard to believe that what you want deep down is to hurt people. And I get the feeling that I am meant to be here, that it is my role. Bestia was at a loss. He was, perhaps, afraid of this girl who did not fear him, and even attempted to embrace him. She behaved too differently from all the other humans he knew of, who only ever harassed and pushed him away.
Why are you so kind to me? To this beast, this murderer?
Bestia's sword slipped from his hand, hitting the hard floor with a metallic whine. When the sound died down, the white-haired girl extended her hands for the beast with the utmost of affability. Her fingers were white as freshly fallen snow, something this area never saw. They traced his distinctive frame. They ran along his unusually shaped nose. They slid across his rough, yellowed skin. They drifted around his rather small eyes. The beast trembled once more, this time not out of twisted desire from deep within, but from the unimaginable comfort of physical contact. Her fingers moved so gently, so pleasantly, wrapping him in their warmth. Are you crying? A single teardrop slid down the arc of her finger. Looking into her clear eyes, Bestia came to a realization, and at the same time, he felt somewhat dismayed. You are without sight. Taken in the throes of his primal urges, the beast had not noticed, but there was an emptiness in the girl's eyes. She appeared to be gazing far into the distance, not focused on the man, despite being close enough to touch him. Tears had begun running down Bestia's cheeks earlier, when she had called him a person. But it was not until one of those droplets had slid across the back of her finger that she had realized. She would indeed have no need of extravagant dresses. After all, she could not see what she was wearing. That is correct. I am blind, but whoever decided that reality is only that which can be seen. I know not what appearance I have. In the darkness everything is as one. There's no difference between beast and man. If you are a beast, then I too must be a beast. To call a girl a beast would be a paramount to eating sugar and insisting it was salt. Do pardon the trite analogy, please. But you know rather well, Master, that the white-haired girl was not at all what you would call a beast. Not simply in appearance, but all the way down to her core. There was nothing beastly about her. Her words brought him faint pain, but the beast still felt, on some level, that he wanted to keep her at his side, to see what would happen. His next words were in large part impulsive. I am grateful that you cannot see. Without exception, everyone who had wandered into the mansion had lost their lives before the sun rose the next morning. She was the first visitor who had not met this fate. Over time, Bestia's madness gradually subsided. He even began to seem rather tame. You would hardly believe it was the same beast who had once reveled in those perverse festivities. He was, I imagine, at a loss for how to behave. I too would be flustered in the constant presence of such beauty. But it was not just her appearance. She had said she wished to live with him, a beast who had committed countless atrocities. Perplexing indeed. What is the matter?
Do you honestly not fear me?
Do I appear to be afraid of you?
No, you do not. But you would. If you could see me, you would react the same as everyone else. You would mock me. You would despise me. You would want to kill me. You don't know what I've done because you cannot see. I enjoyed it. I basked in their terror. So why? Why do I not want you to find out? I don't want you to know how many people I've tortured, how many I've slaughtered, how much blood I've imbibed. All the horrible things I've done. Horrible. I'm aware that what I've done is wrong, but I relished in it. I wanted for so long to slaughter them. I desperately desired to see blood. Human blood. What is it I crave? Murder or laughter? I said that I had no need for peace, yet here I am.
Is something the matter?
No, some tea.
Oh, shall I make some? Are you thirsty?
No, I made some tea. It's probably cold by now. I thought you might want some. You don't?
No, I'll take it.
What are you laughing for?
Because I'm happy.
Is it to your liking?
It's bitter. Their life together began quietly, their days without event. They had no extravagant meals, there were no swaths of guests lending life to the mansion halls, but there was also no one screaming in fear for their life. It was the peaceful life Bestia had lost, and he had returned once more to that quiet realm. What's the matter?
You are always so quick to notice my presence.
My world is one of darkness, so I have a heightened sense of hearing.
What's it like? How do you perceive the world? I cannot imagine living in complete darkness.
Occasionally I can see light.
Light?
Yes, not a radiant light like the sun, but a soft light floating in the darkness. Like a candlelight, I suppose.
That only perplexes me all the more. I find it difficult to understand what you're describing.
Is that so? It's difficult for me as well. I'm not sure how to explain it, but it's not complete darkness. I can sense your presence, for instance, and I can tell how windy it is the way the windows vibrate. And also, I also feel as though I can sense the wavering of emotions. The candlelight begins to flicker erratically from fear, intense sorrow, or other similar emotions.
My emotions?
I do not know. It could be yours, and it could be mine. This mansion is a very peculiar place. The candlelight is always wavering, and yet it somehow seems stable. It makes me feel as though this is where I belong.
I don't think I understand. I'm a beast, and so I lack the intelligence.
But you...
I'm going to go hunting. Is there anything you would like?
Whatever you like. All right then. If you find any fruit, that would be nice.
Fruit.
It's sour. You picked it before it was ripe.
I didn't know. Is that a bad thing? I don't know anything.
I cannot see, but if fruit is still green, you're not supposed to eat it yet. What color are these?
Green. No. Blue.
Shall I give you a hand preparing supper?
I cannot ask for help for someone who can't see. You'll hurt yourself.
Don't worry. I can tell for the most part where things are by touch and sound. Are you worried?
Worried. 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 The thought of blood dripping down her finger doesn't excite me. What's going on? What on earth has happened to me?
If I appear to be in any danger of harming myself, please let me know. Then you have nothing to worry about. You do not seem any more comfortable in a kitchen than me.
She always cooks the... Where did she go?
Huh?
She always comes when I call.
I had hidden myself away. Bestia had learned how to go about his daily life without my assistance, and the two of them had no need of others in their peaceful world. Oh my. What is the matter, Master? I was not lonely at all, no. It was an absolute pleasure simply watching them. I mean that. It was not my role to be at his side, nor was I the one to be at hers. If she could make Bestia into the master of the house, then my presence was unnecessary. I appear when I'm needed, as I appeared to serve the flaxen-haired family, nothing more. If they sought a servant, then I would show myself. Yes, certainly. After some time, they began to sleep in the same bed. Oh dear, no, not for the reason you're imagining, Master. You thought no such thing. Though they slept in the same bed, they did not lay together. They did so, it seemed, because they were more comfortable in the same place. The two acted more like family than lovers.
Hey, hello? Are you asleep?
No, I'm awake.
Is the candlelight wavering?
Right now, it is very calm.
I see. Say, tell me about your childhood,
What? Me?
won't you?
My childhood.
Yes, I have no such stories to tell. When I was a child, I lost everything. My mother, father, brothers, everyone. So
For as long as I can remember, I did not have a father. I lived alone with my mother, but I never felt like that was a bad thing.
Was she kind?
Yes, very. She was a compassionate woman. But we were poor, and because I cannot see, my mother was the only one who could work. She would be away for long stretches of time, supposedly because she served at a respectable house. I do not know whether or not that was true. Perhaps she was doing much more demanding work. I never asked. I believed not asking was best for her. From time to time, I would receive letters from her. Someone who lived nearby read them to me. The letters went something like this. Life in the mansion was difficult, but everyone treats me so well, and they say I do good work. I'll be back with more money soon, so you be a good girl. Other than that, she allegedly expressed concern for my health and safety, as well as repeatedly saying how much she loved me.
You have a good mother.
I did. Nearly everything I remember my mother saying to me was written in her letters. So much kindness and warmth.
Why do you not live with her now? How did you end up here in the mansion?
Before long, she lost her life at her place of employment, and I was sent the money she had earned. It was, I imagine, enough to survive on. When my mother was alive, she often lamented my blindness. If only you could see, she would say, I could show you just how extraordinary this world is. So I decided I would visit a renowned physician in order to fulfill my mother's dream, a physician in this country. However, upon examining me, he said that he could not restore my sight. Dejected, I was on my way back home when bandits attacked. They robbed me of the money I brought to pay for my treatment. I lost everything my mother saved for me, the money she gave her life to earn for me. I failed to repay her for anything she did, which cast a dark cloud over my heart. My world had always been trapped in darkness, but at that moment I was in the deepest abyss. There was not even a speck of light. I was at a complete loss. With nowhere to go, I simply wandered, no destination in mind. And that was when I miraculously arrived at this mansion. It was as if it had summoned me here.
You were being summoned by the mansion to fulfill my craving, but it didn't end up that way. I wonder if the mansion is disappointed. I see.
I apologize for not having a brighter tale to tell. I imagine you were hoping to hear joyful childhood memories.
No. Did they hurt you?
Pardon?
The bandits. When they attacked, were you hurt?
You are so compassionate.
I'm no such thing. I'm not compassionate.
was perfectly fine. I took a few scratches, but nothing you need to worry about.
I see.
I believe, that I am happy now. I was unable to regain my sight, and I haven't the money to return home, but I believe I left in order to come here. Is your life right now happy?
I am terrified. I'm volatile. I'm growing accustomed to this woman's comfort. I'm afraid of losing her. A beast should not have these feelings. A murderous beast. Take this.
What is...
It makes a good gift, supposedly. I was planning to throw it out when I learned that, but I couldn't. I felt I was meant to give it to someone. That could only be you. It is a fake white rose.
A white rose accessory?
Do you not want it?
No, I do. I just... For some reason... Never mind. Thank you, I appreciate it.
La-di-da-di-da. Do you not desire more prey? But you were so hungry for blood before. I've had enough. I don't need any more. Although she is blind, no. Because she cannot see, she does not push me away. She's the only one willing to accept me, to be with me. Such a fickle creature. You obtain peace, cast it aside, and then pick it up once more. But you'll never be able to escape it completely. After all, you are enchanted by the pleasure murder brings. You have been for a very, very long time. This time I'm done. I won't kill anyone anymore. Being with her is far more satisfying than the joy killing brought me. To be with her is what I truly want. So very self-centered. You certainly are. Hey.
It was as though he was viewing a flashback. The sound of knocking echoed through the mansion, as it had the day the merchant came and brought the beast's short-lived peace crashing down.
What did I just tell you? I do not want any more prey. Stop this. Stop it. Don't bring me any more. I thought you were supposed to fulfill my desires. Why did the door open?
Sword in hand, Bestia ran through the mansion's halls. He was overcome with fear. He had obtained the peace he so dearly wanted, and even found someone who did not fear him. He was terrified that the appearance of more prey would cause this all to crumble. If he spotted the prey, murdered them, and conceded to his madness, she might choose to leave him. As much as she claimed he was not hideous, if she witnessed him doing that.
I'll just chase them out. I'm done with this. My desire has changed.
However,
Why?
Bestia shuddered in terror at the sight. Creature too?
Stay back. Stay away from me.
He broke into a run. It was not, after all, helpless prey that had entered the mansion.
That thing is...
The monster's voice seemed to slither along the floors behind him. He felt as though, if he were to turn around, it would be right there on top of him.
Why are you chasing me?
Bestia shouted with fear in his voice, uncharacteristic of the beast who had so readily slaughtered his prey. But can you blame him?
That's a bestia.
In that moment, I had an epiphany. I had assumed he had called himself Bestia, unaware of what the word meant.
A bestia other than me.
Bestia is not, in fact, a name. It is a word that means beast. Indeed, a second beast had come to the mansion.
Why are you chasing me? Are you here to kill me? Is it because I settled down? Because I wanted to stop being a beast?
Is something the matter? When the white-haired girl poked her head out of her bedchamber, Bestia was aghast. He frantically attempted to return her to her room.
You mustn't leave your room.
But as he was doing this, the horrifying creature, no, the beast's voice, drew nearer.
Do not open this door, for any reason. I will protect you. That's right. That's right. I don't want this peace destroyed. These tranquil days together with this woman, I will protect them. I will.
Trembling in fear, Bestia gathered his resolve. He pointed his sword, which until then had only been used to torment others, at the second beast. Now he would wield his blade to protect the person he cared about. This was the same beast who had killed and killed and killed to satisfy his own primal desires.
I will not let you destroy this. I will protect it from you.
From a rational point of view, the things he was saying and feeling were rather idealistic, but Bestia was desperate. He did not want to lose this peace. Before long, the beast, the one chasing him, appeared from within the darkness. Say, Master, if resolve was the only thing necessary for one to act courageously, would that not mean nearly anyone could become a hero? Bestia had viciously slaughtered so many people before. He had gathered the courage to protect the things he cared for, but now he was shaking. He did not gallantly bring his sword down upon the approaching beast. Instead, he trembled visibly from head to toe. He must have been quite terrified at the beast's appearance.
Stop! No! Stay away from me! Don't! Stay back!
Seeing Bestia so scared, I imagined the beast thought it prime opportunity, for it slowly, ever so slowly, ambled towards him.
If I don't kill it, it will kill me. I have to kill it. 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 I have to kill it.
And that was the moment Bestia's mind ran off the rails of sanity.
Kill, 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 kill.
He lifted his sword up above his head, facing the approaching beast. And ferociously swung it down upon his assailant. Again and again and again. Screaming horrifically at the top of his lungs. He continued, swing after swing, until the other beast had gone completely still. Before long, copious volumes of fresh blood stained the corridor. At some point, the other beast had stopped moving and sunken into a pool of its own lifeblood.
I did it. I did it. I killed it. I killed the other bestia.
Ah, shit, it's still alive. Bestia had let his guard down, assuming he had claimed victory over the unmoving beast. I had not imagined either that the beast could still be alive after shedding so much blood.
Stay back.
The beast reached its hand out towards Bestia. It was determined to drag him down to the underworld, it seemed. Slowly sliding along the slippery floor, it dragged itself down toward him. Even on its last breaths, it continued reaching for Bestia, fixated on him. He kicked the beast's hand up into the air, staggering it, and then he
Burn in hell.
rammed his blade down into it. Bestia's fear-stricken expression was hardly that of a knight who had just saved the maiden. Nevertheless, he had indeed eradicated the other beast. Come back again, okay? And you guys come back too. It's 11 o'clock. That's the end of episode 2 of The House in Fata Morgana. Thank you, everybody, for being here.